James Charles is trying his best to smile after tour braces backlash and Tati Westbrook drama. I mean, if trying your best is getting kicked out of the Met Gala for stalking Shawn Mendes, then fair enough, James, you do you. Now, to be fair, that was a fake headline, but if I am being fully honest, I am a little bit surprised that James wasn't kicked out after wearing this. And now you may be thinking, well,
that's a little bit mean, don't you think, Fraser? I mean, James has done nothing to you.
Well, I do actually have my own reasoning. I am only just giving my own rendition of what James and his mate said the other year.
Who is that?
I don't know.
That's a 0.
It literally looks like
She didn't finish getting dressed.
it looks like she's going to Coachella.
No, it doesn't. Coachella, sweetie, I'm so sorry.
But what the fuck? Who let you go to the Oscars like this?
Yeah, that ain't it.
So, you know, I don't really think there's much of a problem having a little bit of a joke here. Clearly, from that video, James Charles can take a joke and no damage was done other than the damage that James caused after wearing this outfit. But getting away from that, let's get straight into the intro. Hello everyone, how you doing? And welcome back to another video. My name is Fraser and I hope you guys are having a splendid day. And as you have probably guessed, for the third time in the matter of weeks, we are going to be talking about big old Jimbo once again. Now, as I just said, I do fully understand that I have been speaking about this man quite a lot in the last few weeks, so much so that I am kind of worried that he's going to place a restraining order on me. But I am going to give James a little bit of credit because after the 2 previous videos I made, James surprisingly did not block me. So that either tells me 2 things. That 1, James Charles can take a little bit of criticism, or 2, James Charles doesn't care about my opinion and does not watch my videos because I am British pond scum and I'm also extremely irrelevant. Please help. Now, the main reason we are going to be talking about James Charles today is mainly because he came out with a little bit of an apology, a little bit of a statement on Twitter. Now, this statement that James has made on his Twitter page comes from the little kerfuffle that he's recently been having with influencer iNabber, where basically James was accused of being manipulative and in a way exploitive and overall a big old bellend after being accused by this man here.
James then saw this as an opportunity to manipulate me as a person who may or may not have been trying to figure things out about their sexuality.
Now, when this video first came out, I didn't really say anything about it because, as the beauty community would usually say, there weren't no receipts at the time until good old T-Spill came out and basically released a load of leaked text messages, and James told T-Spill himself that he is not a victim in this situation. And to be fair, I do just have to give a round of applause to T-Spill, and not for, you know, releasing these text messages, but for the fact that on their Twitter page, they uploaded a Hulk meme. And, you know, I am just glad to see that the beauty community is learning the true forms of humour. Now, regardless of anyone's thoughts with this situation between James and Gage, my personal take on the whole thing, after looking at all of these text messages between the two, I've come to the conclusion that in a way, James and Gage have both done a few shitty things here and there. James Charles messed up by supposedly being manipulative and pressuring, and I'm Gage messed up by, you know, eating Doritos in an exposed video. And I do have to ask the question, Gage, of why were you eating Doritos in an exposed video? But seriously, James did respond eventually to the situation with the tweet that I previously just showed you, and I think it is only fair for me to do another video responding to this tweet and pretty much just giving a chance for James Charles to get his perspective and his opinion out there, because I don't want to be a biased YouTube channel. I want to always give a balanced argument. So we are just going to take a look at this tweet, which was uploaded on May the 4th, titled Boys, in which he uses the good old Notes app on the iPhone to tweet it. Because, you know, is it really an apology from a YouTuber if you don't apologize using the Notes app from your good old iPhone? I'm pretty sure in 2019, if you're a YouTuber and you commit the most heinous crime, well, you can get away with that by just using the Notes app. If you make a statement in 2019 like Game of Thrones being a good show, for example, you can get away with that. Actually, no, you can't get away with that, because Game of Thrones Season 8 is terrible. But yeah, getting away from my strong opinions on Season 8 of Game of Thrones, let's get into this apology or statement or whatever you really want to call it. I would address this now and never again. The boy that I was seen with at Coachella and I talked for 5 months prior to meeting, the day before festival day 1, he called me and told me he wanted to continue to explore his sexuality and meet in person to see what it would be like. Now, to be fully fair to James with this statement, I'm not too sure if he's lying here. I don't personally believe that he really has any reason to lie about that. So I'm just going to give him the benefit of the doubt and say that that is true. And for the most part, the first bit of this whole statement is him pretty much explaining his perspective on his relationship or friendship with Gage. So there isn't really much there until he highlights that his friends mentioned there was some red flags to do with Gage, and one of them being that Gage doesn't clean up. I mean, if not cleaning up after yourself is a red flag, then what is sending texts like these? I mean, is this a code red? Is this a nuclear strike level flag? Now, being fully serious, going by the logic of James's friends of it being a red flag if somebody doesn't clean up after themselves, then there goes my friendship with James Marriott, because that man has not washed his bed sheets in 14 months.
Please clean them, James.
Now, getting back to the apology and the serious parts of this video, the first part, as I said, is him pretty much just talking about him and Gage, and it really isn't much things interesting there. But towards the bottom and the second page of this notepad apology, it does begin to get a little bit more serious. He then told me he had no feelings for me. In that moment, I was not upset he didn't like me back. I promise, guys, I wasn't upset. I promise. Rather, I was upset that I ignored red flags and wasted 5 months, and also because of the timing of Coachella and everything that happened, I felt taken advantage of. Now, if I am being fully honest, I don't actually know why James Charles has worded the apology or statement like this, because in my opinion, this just kind of makes James Charles look a bit worse. To me personally, it does just seem like his ego was damaged because some guy didn't want to get with him, so he went and shit-talked this guy on his 1 million follower platform. Now, to be fully fair to James Charles, he's around 19 years old, and at that age, we are all very impulsive. I'm 22 years of age, and I'm still extremely impulsive, and I've still tweeted some things where I've been angry in the past, so I really can't criticize him too much here, but I do just have to say, James, you probably should think more in them situations regarding the fact that you have millions and millions of followers, and you can't really go and do that just because your ego got damaged. And then he goes on to complain about the fact that Gage went on to post stuff on his social media, and with this, I'm genuinely quite confused, because why can you go on your massive platform and shit talk somebody regardless of if you deleted the posts, because you still posted them? And why can Gage not go on his smaller platform and say what he's feeling? If I'm being fully honest, it does just seem that you and Gage have been pretty immature in this situation, which is kind of ironic considering you said this a few months ago.
I have matured and grown up way faster than anybody else my age.
So let me get this straight. You have matured more than any person in the history of the world at the age of 19, but you're still admitting to going on your massive platform and making little impulsive tweets, and in text messages between the person you're angry at, you justify your actions by saying,
You've gotten 3,000 new followers and roughly 500 comments from my tweets.
I genuinely cannot wait for the day that some murderer decides to come out and make a statement and say, you've got 16 Netflix series from my murders, and you've got the audacity to put me in jail for my crimes, when you've got 60 new Netflix features and now you've got so many more subscriptions. I mean, who's the guilty one here? Now, James, I'm not comparing you to a murderer That was what we call in Britain as a joke, so I don't need to hear from your lawyer. Okay, so we have strayed away from the serious tone of this video, but we are going to move in to the most serious part of this statement when James responds to the accusations of pressure and I guess manipulation. He left out many details and accused me of pressuring him, which is a blatant lie and which has painted a false image of me being a predator. I will never stand for this or take it lightly. I would never, have never, and I will never pressure a guy to do anything. Everything that happened between me and him was 100% consensual. Now, to be fully fair and balanced in this situation, I honestly don't know if Gage was trying to paint James as a predator. When I first saw it, I did just kind of see it as James was a pest. That was pretty much it. And I really don't want to say the word predator because it's such a big statement and a genuinely scary word. At the end of the day, James, if what Gage said in his video kind of fits your description of a predator, then I can understand why you are mad. But to be honest, I think that Gage has the right to say whatever he believes and whatever he feels happened in the situation. And I am fully saying that it should be 100% truthful, but that doesn't mean that Gage shouldn't pretty much express his feelings. He should say how he felt in the situation, regardless of any of the intention in that situation, if that makes any sense whatsoever. Now, I fully understand that a lot of people may disagree with that statement, so I am just going to roll the clip from Gage where he talks about the alleged manipulation and pressure and allow you guys to make your own opinions for yourself.
James then saw this as an opportunity to manipulate me as a person who may or may not have been trying to figure things out about their sexuality after the fact of telling him that I was straight multiple times. He then started to begin putting a little bit of pressure on me of getting to know me without disregarding the fact that I told him I was straight, because as you all know, this person 99.9, maybe even 100% of the time, goes after heterosexual men.
Now again, I did just play that video for you guys because I would rather you guys build your own opinions than just, reiterate the opinion that I'm trying to give you guys. If you guys agree with me, then that's great. Even like the video if you agree with me. But in general, I would rather you guys think for yourselves than me think for you. And to be honest, from this whole situation, I don't really want to make a full comment on that one specific thing because I've seen the text messages, I've seen these videos, and I've kind of come to the conclusion that Gage and James in this situation have both done wrong things. It obviously is a very sensitive situation, but I think it is clear that they were very close friends, if you want to call it that. So something was clearly going on there, but James obviously hasn't handled this situation too well, just like he hasn't handled any situation too well in the past few months. Now, moving back onto the sacred text from James Charles himself, we get on to my favourite part of the whole thing, because obviously in the past James told T-Spill that in this situation he is not the victim, but then he plays the victim. This situation has hurt me in private, but now it's hurting me in public too. There is a lot more to this story, but there's no point elaborating. No, James. I think there is a very, very good reason to elaborate on that whole thing, because, if you do elaborate, you might convince people that this whole thing isn't your fault. You're being accused of something pretty bad, being manipulative and a pesty old bellend, but you're now saying there's no point of elaborating despite this massive statement from you. I mean, where's the logic?
Where's the logic in this statement?
He then goes on to claim responsibility in this situation, despite previously complaining about how this has affected him in the public eye. So effectively what you are saying in this situation, James, is that you are losing subscribers and you don't like that, so you've issued a statement, just like I said you would in my previous video. But I do think we can all agree that it is pretty ridiculous that James still hasn't addressed the situation. Now, this video is being recorded on the 3rd of May, so maybe at this point James has come out and addressed the situation, but even at that point, I can't really take that apology because the original video from Gage came out on the 29th of April. So for you to come out and apologise almost a week later just seems like you've caved under the pressure of criticism. At this point, you can't really win. You should have just addressed the situation the moment it came out. I mean, I guess you could say that is the tea, sis. And I know this is a bottle of water, but, you know, the budget is low.
Give me a break.
But for real, obviously this whole situation is very complex, and from the public eye you can probably see this thing as a teenage squabble, but there clearly is things more deeper than that. So all I can really say is I hope James learns from this situation, despite his statement, apology, whatever you want to call it, being trash. I do hope he learns, and I also hope that in the next exposed video Gage does, he doesn't eat Doritos. Now, as I said earlier, I would love to know your guys' thoughts and opinions on this situation, so just go comment below if you have any thoughts to give me, and also give me your thoughts at Twitter at iNabber, where I am always active. Go ahead and follow me on there, and also you can comment your thoughts at Instagram or send me questions on Instagram at iNabber, where don't forget to follow me on there too. And before I end the video, I am going to thank my Patreons. Big thanks to Harry, Raven, Lilla, Charlie, Chikasi, Scrubby, Anyone21XX, Brianna, Sadie, Kalia, Tabby, Meredith, Grace, Lauren, Quiet, Chew, Caitlin, Karika, The Bratty Beauty Guard, Maddie, Mary, Riley, Neve, Enochi, Jessica, Digidado, Konji, Anna, Louisa, L, Godzilla, Heather, Megan, Jamie, Rockstar, Noku, Alex, Master Shaming, Joanna, Bugger Badger, Clarissa, Alex, Hannah, Olivia, In My Shoes, Mal, Michael, Michelle, Michaela, Trishan, Henry, Maya, Zombie Cesar. Thank you so much to you guys for punching the Patreon. I am extremely ill right now, and I have no idea how I managed to record this. I'm sweating buckets, but I do hope you guys enjoyed this. Please drop a like on this video. I would really appreciate it. That is the end of the video. I will see you in the next one. Peace out, people. Have a lovely day.